we're
Let's go, bro.
about to
Game
find
kelima
out here, guys. We are
di
in
BTK
game
melawan
5,
CLOUD9.
CLOUD9 taking on BTK.
Kita lihat aja guys
And
ya.
the coin flips again. Another chance for the Bloodthirsty Kings to find a way to
Best player
even
1
out
pakai
this
Nolan,
series. I mean,
Moba
hey,
Zen
who
pakai
would've thought,
Akai.
right? It took game number 4, able to find their first victory so far, but this is still
Di saat yang lain push
match point for
assassin,
Cloud9, so they're gonna
Moba
have to
Zen
bring their
tetap
A-game.
tank jungle.
Yeah, so taking a look at this, how does BTK approach this game, right? I think they definitely take it slow. They don't need to force anything. They do have the peel. They have Shark on the Ruby. It did end up being a Ruby Shark, and when they're going to put Cho into the EXP lane, because a lot of damage on a Shark though. Already at first blood.
Cold War.
Yeah, able to find him, able to take him down, and overall, a great objective for Cloud9.
Yeah, and oh, man, that is not the way you want to start off there, especially for Shark, especially when we're leaning on that Ruby to have such an effect here toward the mid and late game.
So I mean, as I was trying, I mean, I kind of wanted Shark to stay on his side of the jungle, but he gets a little greedy there.
Kameramen sampai kebalik loh
I
ini.
think at this point they have to know
BTK
that
harusnya di
the
kanan.
damage base is just, and there's another pick onto Shark. Gonna be able to get away, but yeah, I think they just need to play it safe. Let Zia farm, let Hoon get some damage in the tank, and if they can do that, that's the win con.
It's just, yeah, with that first kill over Cloud9, you can definitely tell they're being a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more picky on when to engage. And I think it's more credits even over to Cobra, right? He's running on a roamer who's not limited, especially like that Lolita in game number 4.
I mean, if anybody can pull out some of these picks, it's going to be Zane here, but we just really need to see what the plan is. We're going to have this first objective started by Cloud9. Rest of BTK looking for an opportunity.
Yeah, Zane forced to use a heavy spin, trying to close the distance. Able to get the retry just in time for the Bloodthirsty Kings, but Cloud9 looking for a punish. Chicken needing to get back to safety. Has the G-Kundo, but Nact on his tail trying to get the pick off, but will not be able to find it.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've seen Chicken on a Cho in a very, 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 very long time. And I mean, it's definitely doable, it's definitely viable, but I don't know if this is comfort for him. Comfort for Zane on the Akai? Yes. Comfort for Zia on this Moskov? Yes, but everyone's gonna need to play to their best ability here. BTK does get that first turtle, so after taking that early game first death, it's huge for them.
Yeah, and I have to wonder too, like sometimes, was this pick, like was it the best in slots for this composition, or was it simply just to take it away from that?
Yeah, I'm offended. Does connect for the setup, and Shark ultimately finding a kill, takes down Cobra.
Whoa. We just got the zoom in. We just got the zoom in here. I'm sorry, that threw me off a little bit. Best player. I haven't seen the map like this in a long time, guys. I'm used to watching at the full wide angle.
Biasanya kalau di Indo ya,
We're back
pakai
to
Nolan
it.
biasanya kalah gitu.
Biasanya sih ini. Panda, how we feel in private.
Di Malay pula sama.
I mean, right now it's working, especially when it comes to maybe we're just focused on the objectives. Fly Chicken takes a heap of damage there, but if we're just focused on objectives, we have the heavy spin, we can get everybody out of the way, still get the retribution in there, which can lead us into that mid game, into the late game, where we're going to get the power spikes for Hoon, for Zia there as well.
I mean, they got a lot of bullies for the early game, a lot of crowd control, especially with that Akai. I mean, he's a one-man army with that heavy spin, right? He should be able to zone everybody out, be able to close the distance, and get these turtles, and that's exactly what you've seen from Moba Zane. I mean, it's a hero he thrives on, right? He doesn't have to really worry about the team looking for that setup. He can just create that opportunity himself.
I mean, definitely. I mean, a lot of opportunities created. BTK, they have the crowd control, right? They do have the answers, but it's still kind of a time game for them. And I think it's why they're not trying to force this turtle right now, because even earlier in the very beginning, we saw how much damage best player even doing to a tank like Moba Zane. Shark in some trouble, should be able to get away. Nat's being the bully, he seems to always be. But yeah, BTK still just waiting on that clock to keep ticking.
Yeah, and it's and ticking away it is. Nat's doing such a great job. Whatever he plays, he's always all over the map. Ooh, Zane!
Heavy spin.
Trouble, forced to use a heavy spin, pinning Nats on the wall. Chicken trying to find an opportunity for the engagement. Won't be able to do it now. Nat's trying to punish. For the Glacier connecting. I'm offended as well. Nat's still alive. Trying to get to the bush. Trying to limit their vision. Hit with the G-Kundo. Chicken, possibly with the final touches, able to find Nas on the heavy aggressive play, but look at Zia on the
Iya.
bot side. AOG
Itu gak kelihatan bagaimana cok konsep.
and Zia will fall. Cold World may pay the
Ngelek,
ultimate price though. No, able to get back out.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, Basic now gets a tower.
kali gak kelihatan,
Zia
guys.
goes down, and this is kind of, you know,
What
we
the hell,
mentioned
bro?
Basic getting on a comfort pick like this, and even if BTK can keep up in objectives when it gets down to Lords, even if he makes a big heavy spin play with Mobazane and steals a Lord, we know the threat that Basic carries on this Claude in these off lanes.
Man, Mobazane, I want to say they were threading the needle with that fight against Nats there. He was very close to being able to take down Mobazane. They do find the synergy, able to find the combinations there to be able to take him down, but it's answered right away at the bottom lane for Cloud9, finding the tower. And, I mean, Zia, we talked about this matchup before offline. There's been so much improvement from the side of Basic there to be able to the pressure that you're getting here now.
2v1 matchup not going to work in Zia's favor. Basic able to secure the kill. Shark will follow. Nas to be the one to secure that. In Cold World, they're not letting anybody go for free. AOG, but heavy spin punish. Cold World forced into the tier 3 turret. A Beyblade and Chicken will find Cold World.
Cloud9 loses something for that push there. Roamer for Roamer. BTK, though, still very much hanging on here. Falling behind a bit in gold, but it's not over yet.
Yeah, this isn't the first time. I mean, BTK, at this point, BTK is used to playing with a little bit of a gold deficit on them. But here we can start seeing even some of those objectives, what I was talking about earlier, where they might have some insurance, having Mobazane with that heavy spin. They're starting to lose some of these objectives. They're starting to fall a little bit behind. And that's not really what you want from a composition like this, like that I feel personally is lacking a bit of damage.
Yeah, definitely lacking in damage, but overwhelming in crowd control, and they got to make that work in their advantage, especially for these early objectives. And not to mention, even though they have the heavy spin to work in their favor, Marcuti, he's picking up that heavy spin as well. So technically, Cloud9 has the same utility.
Yeah, not only is it crowd control with Cloud9, but they also have movement on the map. A Shark in a little bit of trouble. Should be okay. The disengage happens. Items are up. No, still forcing it. They're testing the waters here. They're testing the waters.
Yeah, a little bit of a little wet feet there from both sides there, kind of dipping into there, trying to find out where they can kind of put their limit push out there. Ooh, Zane was still able to get his purple buff there. Zooms in, grabs it, and gets away.
Yeah, but we got to see. I mean, with the Sakai pickup, I mean, effectively, you're a jungle bully, right? You should be able to kind of zoom in with the heavy spins and get these objectives. With the next objective on the board, will he be able to pull that off? So far, Cloud9 has regained their composure that they lost in game number 4. There goes the heavy spin. Beyblade action going towards the mid lane. 2 Cyclones in the making. Need to be careful, but not going to find a setup for either side.
It's such a great answer, too, because you would think maybe go for the Frigid Glacier, right? Go for the big I'm offended. But what that does, essentially, is completely nullify what Mobazane wants to do with the heavy spin. It completely nullifies what the point of bringing the Akai into this game was, and Marcuti is answering it beautifully.
And right now, a lot of pressure coming in. The little cut from the side of Cloud9 is going to be more than enough for them to get this next tower. First Lord up on the map.
Look at the bot side. Chicken. The fracture, too much to handle. Best player on this. Nolan. A major threat and sidesteps the Spear of Destruction on his way out.
Honestly, I don't even know if he wanted, even if he lands that Spirit of Destruction, I don't know if he wants that smoke right now. Best player sitting at 0-0-2, but the damage is definitely there. Nolan is looking scary at 9 minutes in.
Yeah, and now they're going to go ahead, start putting some pressure on. They need to kind of make something happen here as Mobazane getting locked onto by Nats.
Yeah, both sides still finding a way to engage, and right now Cloud9 having a little bit of the upper edge. Shark forced to use I'm offended. Marcuti holding on to that heavy spin, right? He's just waiting. He knows Mobazane is going to go in for it, but if he can hold on to it, then effectively he can nullify it. He can cancel it out with the heavy spin of his own. Speaking of Mobazane, down to 50% HP. That heavy spin may come out a little early, but Zane doesn't want to let it go, but he's being punished by Ness. He's going to force it out. There's the heavy spin, which means this should be a secured objective for the side of Cloud9 as Ness, the distraction and the utility baiter.
Itu dia, guys ya.
And just like that, I mean, that's the sacrificial lamb for Cloud9, dives in, and they are able, Cloud9 able to secure, using that death to secure an objective.
BTK does at least get a tower out of it. They get a little bit of ground back. They break through the mid. Having Nats gone means that front wall for Cloud9 is kind of gone. They need to try to get out of this Lord position without losing barely any material. I don't know. It's definitely a tough spot, but getting that kill, even though they lose Lord, it does help balance the table.
Yeah, and right now the table is set for Cloud9 to push into that tier 3 turret, possibly in the mid lane. May find an opportunity for an engagement on the bot side as well. Look at Zane's positioning though. I mean, he's behind Cloud9 right now. He could get a pin on the wall. Zia could go in for the damage, but is it the most viable answer, especially with not having the numbers on their side?
And now we're starting to see, ooh, nice, I'm offended.
Yeah, Frigid Glacier, as a response, there's the heavy spin we were looking for. But the demonic force back to the mid-river from Nats.
Itu dia loh,
I like it. I think it might have just been because he's spinning. He gets away in time. Don't know if it was meant to go that way, but it ended up working out perfectly. Couple towers do go down for the side of BTK. But even with the Sakai pick, even with the question of it, it feels like BTK are not out of this. I mean, could get out of this still yet.
Well, they're not out of this. They could still find themselves some positives here. Oh, nice, I'm offended.
Yeah, right now looking for that positive, trying to hold on to the tier 3 turret in the mid lane, but Cloud9 on them like a fly on the wall. Not going to try and allow them that opportunity for the defensive push back up. But they're doing a great job. I mean, they're still providing that control. Zane, I mean, on the Sakai, right? I mean, if he has a heavy spin, he can provide a good barrier, especially against that objective.
So taking a look at the items real fast, I want to take a look at Basic because this man has been farming. He's been hungry. He's been doing his thing. And he just locked in the Wind of Nature. And we're starting to see him get a little bit more involved with these fights. We're starting to see him kind of close the distance a bit more.
The best player might be in trouble. Nice banget.
There is no way he's getting out of that.
Itu dia loh.
I mean, it's like a deer in the headlights right there. Best player.
He
knew. He just knew. And that's going to be a kill over to the Bloodthirsty Kings.
Oh man, but just like that, they're able to reply, putting some damage onto mid. But man, BTK holding on to this mid tower for dear life.
It is the last thing standing. It is the one thing between them and Annihilation, but not completely. But yes, we could drum it up. But no, they've been doing a great job. And what that does, if that goes down, Cloud9 just gains complete control. So I think it's very well done that they're able to do this. And C9 are not any slouches. They're not like just letting them keep it. They're doing everything they can to try to take it down. Lord gonna be up in just a few seconds with BTK not being that far behind. Oh, big play.
Langsung mati guys.
Out of position, Zia able to get the kill, but wait a second, Nas, Marcuti rushing to the bot side, grabs it undefended. Does he go for the setup on Zia? Not able to connect Zia. Able to expand the distance back to safety, and yeah, BTK holding on to that tier 3 turret, allowing them to inch their way up the map, taking the tier 3 on the bot side. Now the battle for
Mobazen dapat kelas banget.
And finds Cold World. Zia will find Basic, 3 members down for Cloud9 and BTK. Catching their footing.
More than catching their footing.
The answer, I know there were a lot of doubters, including me, in the YAKAI right there. I'm not going to lie, I was kind of holding my breath as that heavy spin was. I'm like, who's going to get the retribution here? That's about 15 seconds long right now.
Yeah, I mean, just overall, just in control. I mean, BTK have taken control at this point, and Cloud9 wants to go for the split pushing. BTK found the answers. In a matter of games, BTK seems to have finally started to pull Cloud9's card.
It just shows you how strong that tier 3 turret in the mid lane is. I mean, look how much it's turned this game around. They got a Lord. They're able to force them down to their inhibitor turrets. It's a completely full 180 for the Bloodthirsty Kings. And now the play on the way for the bot side. Cold World, Immortality being that's going to be the winner crown. Zia able to take him down though, with the Lord attack. Numbers in BTK's favor. They're looking.
Nice banget itu Mobazen kelas. Wah gila, basicnya modar guys, selesai dah. Selesai gak sih? Triple kill langsung, gila. Woi. Wah, gak ada yang maksain. Gak ada yang mau maksain. Nunggu wave guys. Sempet sih harusnya.
That is
Pun masih ada pasif sih, bro. Wah, mati dah. GG. Keren. Gila, mahal. Itu menyendiri tuh konsep, gimana konsep menyendiri? Kita lanjut ke game selanjutnya.